What's up, dudes and dudes to the internet? My name's Seth, and today we're going to be taking a look at 25 new costumes to the Chaos Crafting Table. Oh man, I've been waiting for these costumes for such a long time. This is actually the Shadowhunter costume that I've been mentioning in lots and lots of previous videos. I guess we'll just start with this one right here. It is the A.M.O.K Aimbot. Kind of spelled a little bit funky, and then it's got the helmet and the bow itself. Doesn't really change anything as far as the video effects. However, if you do throw down your bomb, I guess that's supposed to be a bola or something, you know, like a string with a couple rocks on it or something. In any case, is my absolute favorite Shadowhunter costume to date. I absolutely love this costume. It single-handedly has pulled me back to just using the Shadowhunter. The costume itself is right here, and it's going to end up costing you the items that you see before you. Up next is going to be the Bathys Barbarian, and unfortunately this does not come with any type of weapon or anything, but it essentially is a big daddy or a dive suit, which doesn't it look so cool? That's actually a great addition for the Candy Barb, and especially with the character itself and the way that it walks, like it just kind of fits the character very, very well, doesn't it? So the costume itself is just going to end up coming with a helmet. Hey Tara, and then the recipe to actually craft this sucker is going to be right up here. Oh, and I almost forgot that the reason why this costume actually costs 20 cores is because the video effects have changed a little bit. Not necessarily with any of those, it doesn't seem, but the ultimate at least does throw down an anchor, so I guess that they decided that that was something that was worthwhile. And ooh, that passive buff though is actually the same water video effects from the Primordial Water Dragon, so that's pretty cool. And then we've got the Darkheart Destroyer. This is the crafting components right here. This is all the different parts of the suit, and the costume itself, very, very overkill, but very, very cool. Like seriously, this is a very powerful looking Candy Barbarian costume, isn't it? Kind of reminds me of the Heartbleed costume, but oh man, it looks so good on this character. The ultimate is going to end up being different as well, but the video effects haven't actually changed to anything unique. I guess that's why this one's generally cheaper, but honestly speaking, this costume is so swag, dude. Like, it's really, really worth getting. And then you remember a million years ago when I did a mod highlight video of this bad boy? I don't actually, come to think of it, I don't know if I ever did a mod highlight video or if I just used this organically as my Candy Barb costume for a mod for a very long time. Very, very cool. He's just a samurai, dude. And it seems like they ended up actually making it a little bit better than the original mod as well. The helmet just in general kind of seems a little bit more swag. Maybe that's just me. I haven't been using the mod for a very long time, or haven't used the mod for a very long time. It's gonna have the same video effects as the Licorice Slasher. Also, you ended up, I think it's the Licorice Slasher. I'm probably mixing up the costume. It's the Licorice costume, right? But you saw that the ult is going to be like a kind of Shogun flag, which is really, really cool. Very awesome costume. Absolutely my favorite costume for the Candy Barb. This is going to be the crafting components for it, so relatively cheap on the cores at least, but everything else quite expensive. Next, we're going to be moving up to the Chloromancer, and sorry for the darkness. The night just won't go away, and I'm very pressed for time right now, so I have to record this regardless. But isn't this cool? Any of you Assassin's Creed fans out there, I know are going to love this costume because that's what it's from, right? So it's going to end up giving you this gunblade staff, which is really neat, this helmet, and then just the costume itself. It does have unique video effects, so if you end up throwing those things down on the ground, it's kind of like a trap with blades on it. Very, very cool. And then the exploding plant is going to end up just being a cauldron. So very unique costume, very cool for the Chloromancer, and a nice dark addition to the Chloromancer, while also adding this helmet, which actually goes with an absurd amount of different costumes in the game. The crafting components are going to be right here, so it's I don't know, I mean, generally speaking, these resources are pretty easy to come by outside of the sunlight bulbs, so it's alright. And then we're going to have the jeweled Jaeger. I hope I'm saying that right, but it's going to have the costume and the helmet. This is a costume for the Dino Tamer, and while the costume itself is kind of, you know, it's not really the coolest, I would like to actually see him have a little bit of a better scarf behind him. The helmet itself actually forces your character to have this hairpiece, because that's actually a part of the helmet, which, okay, whatever, that's fine, but the big thing about this costume, the big highlight, is the changes in the video effects. So if you throw down any of your dino babies, they're actually based on all of the primordial dragons, and then when you use your ult, it's kind of like another unique primordial dragon. Also, your net is going to end up catching fire on when you have it on the ground. Very, very cool. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get this last ally for all of you right here today, but otherwise, yeah, it's very, very unique style. Really love the fact that it's like very Trove themed and just feels generally very powerful for the Dino Tamer, right? The costume itself, the crafting components for it are going to be right here. Now, this is a quite expensive costume just because of the fact that it takes meteorite fragments, and these are a very difficult ore to actually farm. I do have a video actually telling you more specifically where you get meteorite fragments, so you can look that one up, but otherwise they're just going to be on the top of the canopy in jungle biomes. Or not jungle biomes, dino biomes. And then here's the dominating Dracomaster. This one's actually a very cool costume. Like, just even the costume itself, very, very nice, very in-themed. I love the flaming little crossbow that he's actually got. Very awesome. And all of the dragons and stuff like that, or dragons, all of the dinosaurs that you have are going to end up being unique and actually be kind of Trove themed while also kind of being their own thing. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be those bat enemies that you can find out in the wild, but it's kind of like a different take on them. This little green dude, which is actually the Triceratops, he's really cool. I don't know why he's flower themed, but he's really cool just because he's kind of like a proper green, like actual dragon, you know? And then this guy is like a two-headed dragon. Very, very awesome. The net is going to be all demonized themed as well. And it's just overall a very nice dark costume for the Dino Tamer. The crafting components are going to be as such meteorite fragments again, which means that it's going to be quite pricey. That last costume, of course, does not come with a helmet either. And then this is going to be the Pinata Protector, which is going to come with the costume, the helmet, and the gun style itself, which I guess the gun style is supposed to be one of those bats that you end up hitting pinatas with, right? So very, very awesome that this got into the game. They actually have a second Pinata costume as well. This one is absurdly dank, though. Like, look at that helmet. Not only does it remind me of Adventure Time, like Finn and Jake and stuff like that, right? But also, it's just so bad that it's good. Like, I could see this helmet going on so many different characters and looking really, really swag, you know? And then, of course, all of your allies and everything that you end up summoning is going to end up being a Pinata theme, which is really cool because I actually did a video on this exact costume. However, it has changed quite a bit since the original modded version, and then this one that ended up getting into the game. So the crafting components for this guy are going to be right here. Wild cupcakes, quite expensive, and because it's Dino Tamer, it's going to be more meteorite fragments. Ouch. Speaking of a dark Ninja Turtle costume, the Shadow Sauromancer, I know is going to be a lot of your all-time favorites. Outside of the one that has the Empowered Gem theme to it, this is probably my favorite Dino Tamer costume. It's going to come with a helmet and a gun as well, and just, I mean, look at it. Doesn't he just look swag? Like, he looks so good, so powerful, definitely looks like something that you would actually take to the end game. The diamonds that you end up, or not the diamonds, the meat that you end up throwing on the ground is going to end up being the crystals that you actually get from Shadow Towers. The net itself is going to kind of be all like Weeping Prophets video effects, right? So it's really, really cool that the players actually have access to that now. Let me see if I can get the last little dino ally. We seem to be getting really, really unlucky here, though. There we go. Jeez Louise, there's the Triceratops. This is one of the main reasons why Dino Tamer's allies are so absolutely useless. Oh, and look at that. I'm actually surprised that that bug carried over, but that's the video effects from our net when we were on the Pinata costume. They actually haven't gone away since we swapped characters. The crafting components for this costume are as follows, but obviously because so many of the video effects and stuff actually changes on the costume, he's going to cost 20 cores, so quite expensive. And then over on the Dracolyte, we have the Macedoine Master, Macedoine, I don't know, it's probably some type of a fruit. It's going to have a costume, a helmet, and a staff style as well. Very colorful, kind of a nature-themed one, which is pretty neat to say the least. Like, I actually kind of like this costume, especially the little ally. Like, isn't he adorable? Kill me, please. The darkness inside me is spreading. I know, shut up and go away. The video effects are going to be very different on this as well. So you can see even as we're shooting, it's kind of like a juice themed. The bombs themselves, not really that much different, but the explosions are. And if we transform, ew, 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 ew. Doesn't he look so cool? Like, seriously, he's an absolute monster. I love it. Okay, and then we've also got the crafting components for it are going to be quite expensive, especially the Primordial Flames. That's where I'm mostly taking the biggest hit, but otherwise, very cool costume for sure. Now for this next Draco costume, it's going to be another Pinata themed one, which, oh man, doesn't he just look really powerful on top of being a Pinata? But you're going to have to be careful because the helmet itself is actually got the second word, the Pinatrician Partisan, whatever. It doesn't have the Partisan for the helmet itself, so I was having a little bit of trouble tracking it down, but you can always open the claims menu if you end up actually crafting the costume. Obviously, it's going to be Pinata theme. I love the little ally. He's actually quite big for an ally, but you're going to end up shooting video effects, and then the explosions are going to be Pinata themed, and then the transformation itself is also going to be Pinata themed. You're going to get the staff as well, I guess I should have mentioned, and the video effects when you're in your ultimate are quite different as well. And then if we actually go to the collections, here it is. So it's going to cost more cupcakes, Robo Salvage, and Primal Flames. So then for you Fey Trickster mains out there, and I know there's not many of you, there's going to be the Chaos Cultist costume, which is going to come with a costume, helmet, and a staff, and it's kind of going to make him Cthulhu themed or demonic themed, which is cool that they ended up actually adding something like this for the Fey Trickster. Like, he definitely needed like a proper costume that would do something like this, kind of make him dark themed. And while it might change the video effects a little bit, for the most part he's pretty much the exact same, and there's not really any reason for us to pop down an ult just because we already know what's gonna happen, right? He's just gonna end up putting down a bunch of different staves or staves, depending how you want to pronounce it. And then the crafting components for it are going to be right here. Cost a Heart of Darkness, the Fey Dust, and all that usual stuff. Up next we got the Shining Sidhe side. I don't know, but in any case, it's going to come with the costume, a helmet, and a staff itself, and is one of the most swag costumes the Fae has ever ended up getting. If you're wanting a Radiant-themed costume, this is the one to get. It's kind of the same as the Angelic costume for the Fae, but on a whole other level, kind of like, I would actually call it like an upgrade, right? And the wings themselves look really, really good, especially if you pair them with a bunch of different wings. Not necessarily these ones right here, but just in general, it looks so good, doesn't it? Of course, no video effects are going to really be changed outside of just the video effects of the costume are going to be brighter themed, but generally speaking, you're not really going to see that much of a change. And the crafting components are going to be right here. Because it can't really change the video effects, it's going to be 10 cores instead of 20 like some of the other ones. Last time we got a costume for the Gunslinger, it was the Atmos costume by B Yellow, and today we're going to be getting the Jet Jammer costume by Aingoman. No, I'm saying it all wrong, but either way, look at this costume. Isn't it amazing? Hey, wait a minute. They're thieves! They stole it from us! I know that was the worst Gollum impersonation. I haven't seen the Lord of the Rings movies in a long time, but either way, that helmet is absurdly close to my Farah costume, isn't it? In any case, that does not take away from the swagness of this costume. Absolutely beautiful. I love the fact that the cape actually is going to be kind of jet stream wings on the back, which of course does make it a little bit more obvious that it did end up taking some insane influence from my Farah costume, but I'm not pointing fingers here. The video effects, can you rock it away? You idiot. The video effects are not going to be any different or anything like that. It's just the Gunslinger, you know, but definitely a very light, very beautiful costume. Even Tara's freaking out saying this costume's beautiful. The crafting components for it are going to be right here. More Primordial Flames, man alive, and lots of Glacial Shards. Thank goodness I actually have a lot of those resources, but otherwise, very, very beautiful costume to say the least, and is going to end up just coming with the guns and stuff, right? Yeah, it's just gonna come with the helmet and guns, and that's it. And then even for you Night mains out there, the Dashing Duelist, I honestly can't recommend it. Like, don't get this costume. It's garbage. Like, the costume itself is actually really, really cool. I like the fact that it's kind of themed with kind of a medieval style to it, but you're just getting the costume. No helmet, no weapons, no nothing, you know? Which is kind of weird for, especially for a Knight costume. You see, I don't actually have my class gem on this guy. I got rid of it. But either way, not worth it in any way, shape, or form, especially when the crafting components are, well, I mean, it's cheap, so it's free mastery, but it's still quite expensive for just a costume that's not going to end up changing much of anything, you know? As opposed to the Steel Sultan, which is very in-themed, comes with a sword and a helmet, and generally speaking, I actually really like for the Knight, you know, kind of makes him a Sultan, so it's kind of like a desert-y themed, you know, if you go into the desert biomes, you're definitely gonna feel right at home. Of course, it's not going to end up changing any of the video effects or anything like that, but it is a very cool costume to say the least. And the crafting components are going to be right here. So again, it's considerably cheap. You know, most of these resources you can find very commonly, but that makes sense because we are talking about the Knight. And then we've got the Demersal Marine. This is another mod that I ended up actually making a video on for the Lunar Lancer, which makes him kind of like a shark dude. And it's so cool that this costume ended up actually getting added to the game, dude. Normally your eyes would be showing up inside the helmet, but as you can see, I kind of have them changed to be a darker color. Very, very cool costume, though. The video effects on it are going to be, I don't know if these are unique video effects, but they are definitely looking a little bit more different and a little bit more swag to it. Did that? What the? If you throw your grappling and then there's that video effects for the right mouse button, was that always the same? In any case, bam! Isn't it beautiful? I love this costume. It's actually fantastic for the Lancer. And then here's going to be the crafting components for it. And then there's going to be the Golden Glaivesinger, which is a very, very strange name for a costume. It's a cool costume for sure. Makes the, you know, the Lunar Lancer has never really had a proper Radiant themed costume. Generally, though, I'm noticing right away, like, there's not much of a color variance from it. The weapon itself actually looks really, really beautiful in Radiant style, while the costume looks more like it's modded rather than actually finished. But maybe that's just me, you know, that's just kind of how I feel about it. Most of all because the ears are piercing through the helmet, and this is like a Lunar Lancer costume, but that's okay because this helmet can, of course, work on other characters, and just looking at it, like, the way that it looks, it's actually a fantastic helmet. I could see it definitely working on maybe a Boomerang or Valkyrie style costume or something. Maybe a nice combination there. The video effects are going to be very, very bright, very, very beautiful. Really, really like the way that this costume looks. Even if, you know, most of all, I'm thinking just because you're going to be staring at the back of your character like 24/7. Oh, Tara actually got that costume. Okay, cool. But the crafting components are going to be as such right here. Lots of Radiant Shards right there for most starting players for sure. And the Golden Souls, ooh, that's quite a bit. And then we've got the Anubian Assassin, which is going to come with a costume, a helmet, and a sword. And this is another Neon Ninja costume, which is very, very cool. He's a Nubian, you know, like kind of like a mummy themed thing, right? Like he's got the dog helmet and stuff like that. Very cool costume. Really like the blade because it's actually like a proper mummy's blade, right? Video effects, as far as I know, yeah, they're just going to end up being the same fire video effects as some of the other costumes, but still, you know, two fantastic Neon Ninja costumes added in with these other costumes, especially just because I've really been waiting to see the Neon Ninja get a little bit bulkier and a little bit more, feel a little bit more powerful. So, of course, we've got all the crafting components for this one all right here. And then we've got my favorite Neon Ninja costume to date, the Bushin Beatmaster. I ended up doing a mod video highlight of this costume as well as a bunch of others that the modder ended up making. Really, really happy to see that this is the one that got accepted because while all the costumes are beautiful, this one's absolutely amazing. The slight hues in the color contrasting of all the nice greens and blacks really makes him techno style themed, and he's got unique video effects all around. You know, everything about him is just really, really cool and pumped up, dare I say, right? The crafting components are going to be as such, so he's kind of expensive but kind of cheap at the same time. Those 20 cores though, yikes. And then we've got the Arcanium Admiral, which is just going to come with a costume and a helmet, so ignore the gun that we're rocking right now. But a very cool costume for the pirate captain. Like, seriously, it makes him look like a generic pirate, you know, while also adding like a proper helmet. He's got the goggles on, kind of a steampunk version, you know what I mean? Very, very cool. I don't think, yeah, your turrets don't really seem to be that much different, if different at all. Ooh, okay, they are different. Ooh. I actually really like the idea of like the truck tires going around and stuff, you know, but very, very cool costume for the pirate captain for sure. The crafting components are going to be right here. Up next, we've got the Star Skipper costume, which comes with the costume and the helmet itself. And this is an amazing pirate costume. Like, seriously, this might be my favorite pirate captain costume in the entire game. Not only does it make him look so swag, so powerful and evil, but he also has like kind of a Cthulhu face. I love the Cthulhu mythos, so that's awesome. His little parakeet ally is a nice little alien dude because this is space themed, right? So if we throw down our turret, oh, that looks so good, dude. Oh, don't those look so swag? Like, seriously, and even the nice little touch where it's us, like a Cthulhu themed pirate. Oh man, looks so good. Like, I love this pirate captain costume. And the crafting components for it are going to be right here. So Kind of a more expensive one just because of Crystallized Cloud and the Golden Souls, but the Golden Seashells, that's easy. Everybody can get that. And then we've got the Photon Phantom, which... I don't know about this one, dude. It's a really weird costume. I'm sure some people are going to definitely like it. Generally, it looks really, really good on your screen, but for most other players, you know, there's lots of visual bugs as far as transparent blocks are concerned. So a lot of times you're going to actually see another player in this costume and you're not going to see any transparency. So they're just going to be a big blue abada shadow hunter, right? It's going to kind of end up changing the video effects a little bit, so it definitely is very, very cool costume, but I don't know, there's something about where I kind of like it, but at the same time I kind of don't. But that's just my own personal taste to it. You know, try and find something that you can end up making work with it, and here's going to end up being the crafting components for it as such. But don't worry, everybody, even though that costume's pretty crazy, this one is just disgusting. Now, I know because of that, lots of people are actually gonna want this one. Doesn't come with a helmet, doesn't come with a bow. It's too bad. I would have loved to see it come with a bow that actually had like stars on it or something like that, and maybe a tiara or something, because it's kind of like a ballerina meets like a weird, awkward Valentine present shadow hunter, right? So it's pretty cool. It's cute and adorable and makes the shadow hunter actually look like a little girl. And I'm not saying that as an insulting way. I'm saying it actually makes it look like a sweet little girl. But otherwise, man alive, like that's just so weird. I don't know what is with this costume actually getting into the game. Here's the crafting components for it, and then otherwise we've got one more to go. So last but not least, we got the Chrono Construct, which is going to be a steampunk meets clock-styled Revenant. So he's got clocks all over him. He's got clocks on his hands. He's got clocks on his spears. He's got clocks on his face. He's got clocks on his shield. If you ever need to know the time, ask this guy, because he's got it. He's got clocks on his cape, for crying out loud. Pretty cool costume for the Revenant for sure. A bit brown, you know, same as that other Revenant costume that we ended up having come into the game recently, the Guardian Golem. So that's kind of already looks the same as this one in a lot of ways, but this one of course is more steampunk themed and stuff. It's not going to end up having any unique video effects or anything like that. Still a pretty cool costume for any of you guys out there that end up maining the Revenant. And the costume's components are going to end up being as such right here. So kind of expensive, kind of not at the same time. But in any case, that's all the costumes and that's all the time that we have for today. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed the video and had the patience to actually get through the whole thing. Because I know that for some of you, you might only have been interested in the Revenant costume. And of course, it was like the one that we ended up looking at last, right? But I'm just saying, you know, very, very awesome costumes that have been added to the game. All of which end up adding tons and tons of mastery as well. I've been bumped up, you know, at my mastery quite a bit. But in any case, absolutely awesome. Hopefully you can afford it all, because otherwise all of the costumes in total are quite expensive. So just to give a quick summary of some of the resources, while not necessarily all of them, in total, all of these costumes are going to cost you 1,250,000 flux and 330 chaos cores. And then there's all the other resources, which obviously are going to be quite expensive. Even for myself, I had to actually buy a lot of the resources as I was crafting all of these different costumes. Just thankfully, I ended up having just enough extra flux to actually buy all the resources, because in recent videos I was unboxing lots and lots of chaos chests so that I could actually specifically get the cores, because that was the biggest one that was stopping me. And for those of you out there that are not pay to win and not going to end up buying any chaos chests, good luck. That's all I can say. But in any case, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Very much appreciate it. Do not forget to like, share, favorite, subscribe for more daily content. Very much appreciate it. Sayonara, stay epic, and I love you all to death.